Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Play Binding of Isaac, Wrath of the Lamb Edition. I have an interesting story to tell about what happened to this episode. So I finished recording, and then I clicked the stop button, as I usually do in Camtasia, to get it to start, creating the video file. And it got up to, saving file 80% or so, and then it just disappeared. And I was like, well, that's weird. Where's the window that allows me to edit my file? And it never popped up, and I looked around in my running processes and stuff, and it didn't really seem to be doing anything, so I was like, well, shit. Because I was pretty pissed off, because this is actually a really good episode, and I was very happy to have recorded it. So I went online, and I was like, dude, where's my files? Where can I go and get what it did manage to create before crashing? And I found it out. It's in a temp file somewhere, and managed to pull out the files, and there were 3 files in there. There was my video file, and that was obviously just fine, and there was the game audio, which was also just fine, and then there was my voice file, and that was corrupted. I couldn't play it with anything. I couldn't manage to salvage it in any way, which was disappointing. But if I had to choose one of those to lose, it would definitely be the voice, because obviously I can just make that again. So here I am, commentating, I guess I should say, on this run, and this is actually something I had been kind of thinking about experimenting with, but I wasn't sure, whether it would be a good thing to do. So anyway, now it's forced my hand, so I am post-commentating this run, and that's all there is to it. So I decided on this run after my almost successful Spider Boy run. I was getting a little bit fatigued with the challenge runs, so I decided to just go back to the vanilla game and play with my favorite character, Isaac, because I know there are things, so I'm going to use this, then re-roll it. Very standard strategy there. So there are things that I want to unlock that can only be done by beating the vanilla game with each character, so I thought I would do that a little bit. I picked up the Ouija Tears there, which is an okay item, but of course it makes shooting poop and fires kind of not so great. So that Guppy's head that I picked up will give us these attack flies for a little while, but of course they will die soon enough. But I didn't want to give up my D6 so quickly. Even though Guppy's head is a fairly good spacebar item, I really wanted to milk that D6 for all I've got. I think D6 is a good item for trying out a new expansion like this, because if I get an old item that's boring, I can just re-roll it and get potentially some sort of new item from the expansion. I did, in fact, in this run get several exciting new items, which is one of the reasons I was so pissed off when I thought that I would not be able to post a video because it was gone. This room sucked so much, because of course right after I get the Ouija board, what's going to pop up but a room full of hoppers and one fire that I cannot for the life of me shoot out. Look at that shit. I must have put 8 or 9 bullets into that fire before it finally went out, but of course at this point it doesn't even matter. Every single hopper lit itself on fire. It's just bad times. Flaming hoppers everywhere, and they all want me. So shoot all these guys, and nothing much has happened so far this run. We're of course on a vanilla run, so we do have item rooms on each floor. Now I thought that this was Mom's Contact, and I was like, oh yeah. It's not, guys. To Mom's Eye. I absolutely should have re-rolled that. Mom's Eye is, I'm not going to call it a horrible item, but it's certainly not one of the best, and certainly worth a re-roll. Because as you can see, every once in a while, randomly, it seems to be like 1 in 3 tears or so, you shoot out of the back of your head. Here's a new one. Stigmata, damage plus, health plus. One of my favorites from the expansion. Really good. There seem to be a lot of those items that combine a great effect, like damage up or flight, with a health upgrade. And, I'm not going to complain about that at all. So, there's our first health upgrade of this run already, as well as a fair amount more damage, which I was really excited to have. It's always good to have a lot of damage. I've said this before in my earlier Isaac videos, but I absolutely stand by this. The most important of the basic stats is always damage up, even above health up. I did not mean to open that door, I just kind of bumped into it there. And of course we'll see a prayer card, which I don't believe I ever do find enough money to pick that up, which is unfortunate. So I wasted my last key on that, Kind of a dumbass move, but what are you gonna do? Oh, but anyway, yeah, damage up, super important, because obviously, if you are, if you take longer to defeat a room, then obviously you're going to take more damage on it. The longer you spend on a room, your chances of taking damage asymptotally approach 100%, and of course that's true for taking more damage past that first bit of damage. So, you know, hypothetically, if you had the highest amount of damage possible and you killed everything in one hit, you would almost never take damage because you would just kill everything instantly. And I think that's absolutely something that proves, you know, it's a theory that proves itself in testing in Binding of Isaac, because, you know, if you have something really good like a brimstone and you walk into most rooms and just take everything out, you're not going to have a lot of health problems during that run, even if you do have like only a couple of hearts or one heart. I left that range up in that room because I wanted to have the option open to me to reroll it after this boss, so I could see, like, you know, which one of these boss drops do I want less. You know, if this guy dropped, like, I don't even know what I would want less than a range up at this point, but if he dropped something absolutely horrible, then I could reroll that and take the range up. Like maybe if he dropped a spacebar item somehow that I didn't want. But instead we get Super Bandage, which is an amazing item that gives us a health up, as well as, like, what, 2 or 3 Spirit Hearts? And we also pick up, of course, a normal HP up by rerolling the range upgrade, which gives us an insane amount of hearts leaving the basement. Well, I was going to say the basement part 1, but really it's the basement in general, because of course this was a Curse of the Labyrinth floor, which combined the basement part 1 and 2. Man, I'm kind of enjoying this this post commentary. It's nice to be able to sit back and watch myself play a little bit. You know, I got my cat in my lap. I don't have to throw him off in the fear that he'll jump on my keyboard and fuck everything up. I've got my nice, you know, cup of vodka and lemonade that I'm drinking while I narrate. Oh no, and I'm dropping my microphone. I've got my microphone in a bit of a precarious situation here. I'm trying to get it a little bit closer to my mouth because I feel like that gives me much better audio quality. But the problem is I need it out of the way of the keyboard while I'm recording. So that ends up with it being kind of off to the side, and I like lean toward it during my play sessions. Okay, so here is one of my favorite new items. It's a meat fan, a Super Meat Boy, like one of those saw blade things, and it turns you into Meat Boy and gives you all stats up. Though, and tell me if you guys agree with this, I'm looking at it and I'm trying to decide if I do myself, but at the time I was under the impression that either through glitch or on purpose it actually gives you a speed down despite claiming to be a stats up. Because I just feel like I got a little bit slower, which wouldn't make sense for an item that makes me look like Super Meat Boy. Oh, and look at that, I've got the bandages flower on my head as well. I'm totally decked out Super Meat Boy style. This entire episode really was like a Super Meat Boy throwback. It was really cool. But anyway, all stats up is great. That brings us up to, looks like 7 heart containers on the Caves Part 1, which is ridiculous. Maybe the most health I've ever had that early. Certainly up there. So as you can see, like, at this point it looks like I'm basically a shoo-in. There's little that could stop me at this point. But it's surprising how quickly things can fall. This run was harrowing for a little while because there was some scary shit going on in the depths, but I guess we'll talk about that later. But for right now, things are looking great. Got great items out of basically all of the rooms, I think. I can't remember what the first item I got was, but the Stigmata and the All Stats Up are both great. And the Super Band-Aid is one of my absolute favorite boss drops. And then we also got just a normal HP up, so I'm doing incredibly well on health. I, of course, decided to forego the shop there because, you know, what am I going to buy with 3 cents? I'm pretty sure... Oh, no, yeah, the things on sale can be 3 cents. Yeah, so I could have maybe gotten, like, a bomb or a key on sale, but not really a worthwhile gamble for a key. Fighting Chubb here, who is one of the more annoying old Caves boss, but absolutely, if I have to choose between this and something new like that fucking Carrion Queen, I never want to fight her again. I'm scared of that boss. Next time I meet her, I want to have Brimstone or like Dr. Fetus, something really good to take her out, because Just normal tears do not cut it. That was a bad situation I was in that time. But anyway, you know, I'm steadily picking away at Chubb here. It's a slow boss fight always, because you're just, you know, he has a lot of HP, and there's not a lot you can do about that really. I got a damage up, or I guess 2 damage ups now from the Stigmata and the Meat Fan, but it's not enough to make this boss fight quick and easy. It's certainly not a difficult boss fight, but it's long as hell, and it's kind of hard to think of commentary for the entire thing, to be honest, but luckily for me, we're almost done. Just gotta take out the rest of these little silkworms. Come on. There we go. Pick up our HP up and tears up, and head into the Devil Room. I really considered taking that Forget Me Now. Of course, the Bloodlust is a shoo-in. That's a really good item. And of course, I re-roll the fucking Forget Me Now for Book of Sin. And as I walk out of there, I was like, damn. I was really hoping that I would get the opportunity to roll again. But of course, there was only one room up here anyway. So it wasn't meant to be. But you know what? Getting Bloodlust on the Caves Part 1 with the upgrades I already had, huge pickup. It was invaluable over the course of this run. I don't know what I was walking back and forth about there. I guess I'm deciding to do something crazy. I don't remember this part. Let's see what I'm up to. Walking back. I guess I'm gonna open up this. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm gonna spend 2 bombs and a key to open up this chest. Because, oh no, I'm going to the mob trap room. Okay. So we'll see what's in here. Not worth it, but you know, maybe I was trying to get up to 7 cents to make the shop worthwhile. Which is a decent idea. I had forgotten, future me had forgotten that there was even a mob trap room down here, but past me was on top of his shit. So we are going to fight this entire mob trap room, because for once, right, we don't have flying, which is a really unusual situation to be in Wrath of the Lamb, which is interesting to me. Here we see Bloodlust absolutely tearing it up. Mob trap rooms are probably the ideal situation for an item like that, because you have to fight several enemies taking place in one room. So here, yeah, here I'm gonna waste 2 bombs and a key to open this chest, because I had heard that these chests got buffed significantly in the patch. Let's see what's in this one. Yeah, a bunch of money. That's fair enough. Oh, that's right, yeah, so I have 11 cents, and I could use a bomb for an additional 3, but that would not bring me up to 15 cents, and of course I don't want to waste my bombs looking for the secret room when there are 3 locations on the map that would have been possible pre Wrath of the Lamb. Plus, I don't even know if that matters anymore. Like, it could be anywhere, as far as I know. It could be, like, off of a 1 room to the top left, for all I know. So, searching for the secret room has become a much less viable use of bombs, unless you get something like the Pyro item that gives you 99 of them, so you can really fuck around. Here we're fighting Larry Jr. I kind of sat there shooting at that TNT for a while because I was really afraid. The problem with Ouija tears is that it's random whether your tear affects the TNT or not, and it takes several tears to blow it up, or I think 3 tears to blow it up. So it's very possible to not know how far gone the TNT is, and just blow it up right in your face with a Ouija tear by accident, thinking, you know, it's not about to blow. So I'm going to feed all my money to Judgment here. Let's see what he gives to us. I honestly don't remember at this point. It was quite a while. Oh, that's right. Judgment, you fool! Killing himself with a bomb. But he did drop an absurd amount of money. What was that, like 18 cents? Well, we can do the math. I had 11 cents before. 14 cents then. No, that's not. That can't be true. Yeah, I must have spent some of my... Oh, duh, I gave some to Judgment. I don't know. Yeah, I think 18 cents is about right then. So, we'll head into the arcade, use the blood bank once, and bam! That was ridiculously lucky. I was gonna pump several hearts into it, because obviously with 4 spirit hearts and all those red hearts, I felt pretty confident that I would be alright pumping, you know, 3, 4 of my red hearts into it before I would stop and wait for more health drops, but unnecessary. Just got another health up there, bringing us up to 7 red hearts. Plus we had spent 2 on Bloodlust, which is absurd for the Caves Part 2. Having effectively 9 heart containers on the Caves Part 2 is unheard of, at least in my runs. So here again we see the value of Bloodlust against those guys. We pick up the umbilical cord. Still no clue what that shit does. I hang on to it for a long time and never see any kind of effect. I consider strongly picking up the Book of Revelations here, but decide against it because I want to hang on to my D6 and get the treasure map, which is always nice. That shows us where the secret room is on each floor, which is a huge advantage now compared to what it used to be. Oh yeah, and check this out, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hearts, 7 hearts, and that's when I'm like, okay, fuck that noise. 7 goddamn hearts in that self-sacrifice room. That's ridiculous. Like, there's hardly anything it could give me that would be worth 4 spirit hearts. So, not feeling so great about those rooms. I've heard people saying, like, man, those self-sacrifice rooms are great. They always pay out so early. Not my experience. Every single time I've ever even gotten anything out of those rooms, it's been a locked chest. I think the best thing I've gotten out of the chest is an HP up, which was nice, but certainly not worth the gamble of using 7 hearts without even getting anything, which is ridiculous. So we got a bombs for keys pill there. I spent my money on it, and that left us with 2 keys and only 1 bomb, and I felt uncomfortable with that, so then I spent an additional 5 cents on the bomb. That's how they get you, man. The shop is crooked. They'll just sell you something that gives you a problem and be like, you know what, we can solve that problem for another nickel. And you know what, I took them up on it, because, you know, what are you gonna do? But anyway, we got Cancer in the middle of that room, which I was tempted to use a bomb on, because I know for a fact that Cancer is essentially a permanent tiers upgrade. Or, I didn't mean permanent, I meant transient, in that you can replace it with another trinket. So, you know, Tears Up is always a nice item to have, but I didn't want to use one of my 2 bombs to pick it up when I didn't know exactly what the umbilical cord was even doing for me. If I knew for a fact that the umbilical cord was worthless, then I would probably do it. But it's always a tough call to make when you have these cryptic items you don't even know what they do. And look at how much damage I'm taking here. This is where the run starts to go a little bit downhill. It's a combination of getting some tough rooms and me just not, you know, having the dodging skill to follow through. In that case, I kind of like knocked the heads into my intended path that I was going to dodge. That one, I'm not sure why it hit me. I felt like I was in the clear even watching the playback, but whatever. I thought long and hard about taking that toothpick, but instead I rolled for the dove, which is great. Even though we didn't get the what's the effect of that? The Ouija tears from the dove. Just being able to fly is a huge advantage. I'm not sure what the deal with this glitch here is that the dove usually, I think anyway, turns your body into a white, like, wispy thing similar to the scary face, the creature of the night. But it didn't happen here. I think it might be a interaction with the Meat Boy upgrade. Who knows, really, though. But anyway, I did go back and pick up Cancer now that I'm able to fly, which is great. And then we'll just move straight on to the boss here, after I kill these Meat Boy assholes. Grab a key there. And I was thinking about it for a second, but yes, we're gonna go into the boss. Here's fucking Peep again. So I realized during this fight what exactly is going on with Peep. Peep's inclination is indeed, he jumps up and then he tries to land on top of you. The problem is there's a glitch right now with his AI, where, or not even his AI, but his pathing, I guess, where he's not allowed to go past the rocks even while he's in the air. He treats them as a solid barrier. So what was confusing me there is usually, like in the previous game, it would be smart to, like, when he jumps up from the middle, walk into the middle and then continue shooting at him from behind the rocks, and then those bullets won't be able to hit you. However, no longer the case, because he actually can't get past the rocks, so what will happen is he'll just land on you, which obviously sucks. Basically, a glitch has changed what used to be the smart thing on this boss to a thing that will get you hit every single time. So I need to remember to watch for where his creep is on the ground to get a hint of where he's headed, especially after the next patch, because I won't know if they fix that. We pick up Mom's coin purse, which sucks. I was thinking, god damn, I would love to re-roll that, because as far as I'm aware, all Mom's coin purse does is give you those 4 pills, and of course those pills can be bad. So we did pick up a bad trip pill there. but I used my health card there to, I believe, give me 2 extra hearts, though looking at that again, I think something different happened. I might need to review that footage and see exactly what the 2 of hearts does. But we're taking the bad trip pill with us, and that's because, of course, the like health down and bad trip pills both get a different effect when they would kill you. So if you only have 1 heart container and you use a health down, it's a health up. And similarly, when you use a bad trip pill, you when you only have 1 heart left, it will instead give you full health. So it's a useful thing to hang on to because it will be a full health pill in your hour of need. So I grabbed it. But anyway, these guys are proving to be like made for the bloodlust item, because of course they just shit out a ton of flies as you kill them. So the longer you spend killing them, you get insane damage by the end of any room with one of those in there. You'll kill like 4, 5, 6 enemies, which is always a bonus. Here we are fighting Chubb again, though with a little bit more health this time, or a little bit more damage I should say. I should be focusing on those little silkworms he spawns, because of course every single one will give me a little bit more damage and help me take out the boss faster, as well as getting the silkworm out of my way. But apparently that's not high on my list of priorities during this fight, so we'll just take him out normally and head on. This is kind of a shitty room because we have to deal with not only the fires that I can't really shoot very effectively but can shoot me, and these mask guys, but it turned out alright. Come on, there we go. Took that out, no problem. I'm not even going to bother with that fire, I'm just going to get the fuck out of there. And continue shooting at these guys, who are, again, going to be insanely easy to take out, because they'll just magnify my tears. Look at how big those tears are. Ridiculous. Bloodlust really is. It's a good item to have. Just, not if you're Samson, because Samson's downsides are obviously so heavy that they more than make up for the upside of the thing. This guy just, like, shoves me right back out of the secret room. I didn't try to leave. He just, his shot pushed me. And I was like, well, you know what? Fuck you too, buddy. And left. These guys, this is a harrowing room. It's really hard to dodge all of those little chubs flying at you. But, you know, I had plenty of experience with that in the locker room at my high school, so got through it alright. That was a gross joke. I apologize. Blow up this tinted rock. Get a spirit rock and a damage up out of it. A spirit rock. A spirit heart and a small rock damage up. And move on to the next room, which is full of fucking spiders. I hate these rooms full of spiders, man. I'm not good enough at predicting spiders' movements to be comfortable fighting them. It seems like they're a little bit, I don't think they are random, but to me they seem a little bit random because I don't have the experience I would want with them. And here's another room with spiders. I'm just being really careful to like creep up there and shoot them without triggering those goddamn Zelda-style switchblades. But that room went surprisingly well. We'll hop into the item room here. Black bean, fart on things. You reroll that and get, for a second I thought that was Epicac, and I was like, no, fuck you, but it's actually Chemical Peel, which is a damage up that only affects half of your face. We can't see it here. I've seen it in other videos. It's like you spill chemicals on half of your face, and so the tears from that half of your face become bigger. But that's not the case. Or that is the case, rather, but we can't see that through the Meat Boy skin, so we just have to take it on faith that we burned half of our face. So every other tier is huge. I think that's a really good damage up. It must be very significant to make the tiers that much different in size from each other. But yeah, look at all that damage I'm doing. It's pretty ridiculous. And these spiders don't stand a goddamn chance, especially by the end of that room when I've killed, you know, 4 or 5 enemies and have significant damage up just from that. Take out this Guts guy, which is, you know, kind of a pointless enemy, really. It's much less difficult than the Brain guys, because all Guts do is just, like, fuck around on the edge of the room, whereas Brains at least leave creep. I feel like Guts would do better with creep. So here's Super Greed, the super asshole. He's actually not as hard as I was led to believe. I've heard crazy things about this guy, but it may be that my damage is just so high that I don't really understand. But I did get hit once at the end, but I feel like that was just my own stupidity, basically. He was not an incredibly difficult boss to kill. He basically had a 4-shot instead of a 3-shot. That was the only distinguishing factor that I could see. I might have to fight him again on a run where I'm not feeling, you know, fairly overpowered. I'm not going to call this like the most powerful run ever, but I'm doing pretty well for myself at this point in the game. Run into this room full of nubs on legs, which is not a huge deal at all, as you can see. And then we got, oh god, more more chubs. Chubs everywhere. Dodge them, dodge them. Don't take it in the mouth. I feel like I'm talking to my 14-year-old self. And for like a split second there, I thought I had glitched the game by like killing that guy while the chub was on screen in a certain way, because the doors didn't open until that chub finished his path and disappeared. And I was like, oh god, that would suck if I was stuck in here forever. Though I could probably bomb myself out. But anyway, that wasn't the case. Took out those fighters with minimum casualties. Minimal, I guess, is a better word. Got another judgment here. Feed him and get tough love. I wasn't sure if I wanted to roll that or not, so I decided to see if I want to roll the item room first. Got a new item, Habit, and we can see in the bottom right it has the effect Item Martyr. It took me a long time to figure out what this does. I'll mention it the first time we see it activate. But for a while I had a lot of different theories about what that item did before, and of course I rolled the tooth tears and get a Mr. Boom, which I absolutely do not want. So we'll be revisiting that item soon. So there it goes. I got hit, and as a result, we got, what was that, 3 charges on our D6, I believe, yeah. So you get a half charge on your spacebar item every time you take damage, which is huge. Like, it's so good, especially, like, it's not necessarily so great when you're using the D6, because that already charges, you know, fairly quickly, and you usually don't need it charged too often anyway. But for some, fuck you, Epicac, getting the hell out of there. But anyway, for something like especially a Book of Revelations, man, which would basically, if you had a Book of Revelations and the Habit, then on every room before the womb, you would break even on health, because if you get hit twice, that's a full heart, and then you can just use your Book of Revelations again, which is ridiculous. I feel like that would be an extremely overpowered combination right now. But anyway, for the D6, it is allowing me to get a few more rolls. I did roll those, or did I do that yet? Let's wait until I go back into the library. What does the library have? Like Telepathy for Dummies, which I feel is not a good spacebar item at all. It's like a 3-roomer that gives you homing tears for a room. It's like a free magician card every 3 rooms, and I hardly ever even remember to use the magician card. Really shouldn't have picked up that Eternal Heart. I always piss myself off with the way I handle those. I need to get used to them. But obviously the best way to use an Eternal Heart is to leave it on the ground, wait until you've defeated the level, then come back and pick it up before going down the ladder, and then you have a free HP up. But because I picked that up, I have a very low chance of hanging on to it. But I did get that Spirit Heart. The reason I'm gambling here, by the way, is because I was so low on health. For some reason it was like, I'm not sure if it was a run of bad rooms. Even looking back on it, like, I can hardly blame myself for the hits I took, but I feel like I took a lot of hits. So either a run of bad rooms or a run of bad play. But I am recovering here slowly by playing the slot machine, which seems to have been a very good play. I've gotten like, what, 4 full hearts, half of which is an Eternal Heart so far. What's that? Balls of Steel, yeah, see, good slot machine, man. And of course, I've been to the last shop. It contained Super Greed the Super Asshole, so we're never going to see another shop again, so I may as well spend all my money on, you know, potentially getting some hearts that can keep me alive to the end of the game. It would be especially disappointing to die on a run like this after I got so many like fairly powerful items. And look how big my tears are now after having killed a few flies out of that thing. Ridiculous. So anyway, coming to the end of my money pile here. I'm gonna take a drink. I feel like I'm talking even more than I usually do during these Let's Plays, because of course I don't have to focus on the gameplay. Oh yeah, that's right. I get a dollar bill out of that slot machine after we've been to the last shop, which is pretty useless. I remember harping on and on about hoping I would get money equals power, which I've never had in conjunction with 99 cents, and I would love to see what kind of damage that would give me. But unfortunately, and spoiler alert, we don't get it, which is pretty sad. But we're going to come back here and reroll Epicac, of course, because fuck that noise, and pick up Technology 2, which is huge. It's almost the new Brimstone of Wrath of the Lamb. It's a very good item. I think I would probably still prefer Brimstone to it, but still that constant damage laser is really good in a lot of ways. And it pierces, of course. Yeah, it's like a little tiny Brimstone, but it's always on, so you have crowd control out of it as well. So it's a give and take with Brimstone. I would not say that one of them is definitively better than the other by any means, because Brimstone I think has more raw power, especially against something like a single target boss. But on the other hand, Technology 2 is like, you can take out a room full of flies so easily, and you aren't fucked if you miss your first shot and have to charge up another one, like you often are with Brimstone. I'm going to pick up this Goat Hoof, which has the effect of making a random one of your tiers larger, and thus do, I think it's double damage on a random one of your tiers. It seems like approximately once every 5 or once every 6 tiers. We roll the Anarchist Cookbook and the what was that, Telepathy for Dummies, and get 2 books of Belial. So here I am scheming right now. I'm like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to get another charge on the D6 most of the way, and then we're going to fight the first boss, and that fucking what are those things called? Switchblades. Really messed up my plans there. I was hoping to take out all those nubs at once. Of course, it was like, nope. But anyway, it almost got me on the way out there. But anyway, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get some more charges on my D6. And then I'm going to come back up here, grab a Book of Belial. And then, if I want to reroll the first boss drop, then I will come back, get the D6, charge it the rest of the way, roll the drop, then, or once or maybe twice, because there's a lot of rooms left on this floor. And then come back, get the other Book of Belial, use that on Mom, and we'll see why that didn't work in a little bit. But right now, I've got my first Book of Belial. I'm carrying out my plan faithfully. Fighting War here, who's super easy, especially given my advantages, though of course he's not vulnerable to the Bloodlust at all, because he doesn't spawn any enemies. Which is weird now that I think about it. You would think War, if anything, would be inclined to spawn some kind of army, and look at that, he's just as fast as I am, which does lead me to believe that I gotta speed down from something, because usually I believe default speed is faster than War, so I'm not totally sure what caused that. But of course we did get a Meat Boy, or a Meat Cube, which is not re-rollable, so we do have to come back here and get the other Book of Belial, and we learned something new about how this game works. So we used the charge on the first Book of Belial, and then got 2 charges by completing a room with it. We came back, got the other Book of Belial, and it is also at 2 charges. And the reason for that is we've learned that rather than storing a charge for each individual item on the floor, it stores a charge for each type of item. So at any given point the game knows, okay, your charge with Book of Belial is 2, your charge with D6 is 5, your charge with, you know, any given item is something. So when you pick up a second Book of Belial, it actually gives you the same charge as you would have had before. Mom's going down incredibly easily here. I did end up, through use of the habit, getting enough charge to use the Book of Belial anyway. But that was toward the end of the boss battle, it probably didn't matter. I may have even been better off waiting for the womb. I did take a significant amount of damage on that fight, because I'm still like kind of adjusting to the new Mom fight. I feel like the range on the foot really makes it harder, especially with the lack of availability of speed upgrades. So here's Pyro. We'll pick that up, obviously, for 99 bombs, which means that we don't have to worry about bombs for the rest of the floor, or the rest of the game. And I'm really bad about like taking advantage of having a shit ton of bombs. I should be better about like bombing my way out of rooms. But hey, the enemy did it for me there. I was like, well, boss obviously is not that way. Here I'm debating about which way is going to be more effective for trying to find the boss, and I decide to go left. So off we go. I'm like sitting here explaining how clever I am. I'm like, oh, check it out, my beam is faster than the shot, so I can just dodge repeatedly. I'm like, oh. Or I could just walk onto the spikes like a normal person. 2 of diamonds doubles the amount of money you have, which is hilarious because, check it out, I have 99 cents. I don't think that's going to do us much good when 99 cents is in fact the cap of money you can get in this game. This is basically lasering everything to death here. I have a tendency when I get technology 2 to stop paying attention to where my shots go, which is probably something I should rectify. I feel like I might do a little bit better with it if I was more mindful of where my shots were going, but man, that laser beam is so good by itself that I'm usually not inclined to, unless it's something like a big single target boss that's really easy to hit, such as that stage 1 blast assist. And blast assist, no problem at all. Took him out. We've got this syringe of speed, which is great. It makes me move a little bit faster, which I was really excited about, as well as giving me a little bit more shot speed, which I think is a really good synergy with the technology beam, because obviously, like, if they travel faster, they're more likely to hit what I'm aiming the beam at than if they were traveling slower. So we're taking out Krampus here, which is interesting. I was positing during this fight, like, hey, is that going to affect Technology 2's laser beam as well? Like, is that going to get bigger as it goes? To this day, I'm not sure, but it kind of looks like it. I do a little bit of a visual demonstration here, and it does look a little bit like it's getting bigger, doesn't it? But I'm not sure if that's just me. But regardless, our tiers are going to get bigger and thus do more damage as they travel, which is great. More damage up is exactly what I needed, right? So I'm just tearing shit up here in the womb part 2. I'm actually doing way better in the womb than I was ever doing in the depths, which is interesting. So usually it's the other way around. Getting that silkworm just basically slammed me there. So we picked up the flat penny, but of course I decided to leave that. The flat penny's effect is that it is like, every time you pick up a penny, or like every 3 pennies you pick up, or something ridiculously common, you get one of those golden infinite keys, which can be great if you're low on keys. Like, you definitely want to grab that trinket for a little while until you get a golden key, and maybe even keep it for the next floor if you're still low. But on the womb, with 7 keys, I think I'm going to be alright, because obviously there aren't very many locked things on the womb. It's basically just chests, and I believe you can also have a library on the womb, but 7 should be plenty to take me to the end of the game at this point. We go into that self-sacrifice room, obviously, to get 2 spiders and 2 spirit hearts. So net gain of 1 spirit heart there, because of course we'll have to take one on the way out. And we're heading up toward the secret room, I believe is my next destination, because why not, really? Could be the boss up there as well, and then I'd kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Got another spirit heart in that room, which is very lucky. I probably should be using... Oh, well, there we go. I guess past me was thinking the same thing. I was going to say, probably should be using my Book of Belial a little bit more, considering how quickly it charges with the habit that I have there. Because, like, even if I don't get hit at all, it's a 3-room charge. If I do get hit at all, it charges on the next room. So, you know, use the Book of Belial, get hit once, and then do 2 rooms and it's all charged up, or obviously get hit twice and it's charged up immediately. So we know that the boss room isn't that way. We're just taking off from there. I don't really want Bob's Rotten Head whatsoever. I think the most valuable thing about that item is that it can be used as a bomb when you're in a situation where you need bombs. And of course I have 99 of the things, so no interest whatsoever. Got a little bit more health there, which is always valuable, as well as, oh my god, we're fighting Peep. So this guy, I was basically just like, okay, hide on the rocks. Just hide on the rocks. Luckily, I didn't even notice this at the time, but I'm really lucky that that eyeball got stuck in the mob trap room door over there. I wasn't sure if that could get me on the rocks. I don't think it can. But I got a little bit spooked, and I'm honestly not sure how I didn't take damage. I think Cube of Meat must have really like chewed up 3 of those bullets for me. Come into this mob trap room, grab a free HP up, and then see you later, Fistula. So we are going to come up this way because I'm like 99% sure you can't bomb yourself out of a mob trap room into the secret room. But I probably should have tested with 99 bombs, but I'm fairly confident I'm right there. I have no idea how I got hit there. I think that's bullshit. I was standing on top of a rock, so there's no way anything should have been able to get to me. But it did somehow. No big deal. I still got plenty of health. We bomb our way into the secret room, and we get... Oh yeah, that's right. Epic Fetus. This is the item that I remember talking about actually at the beginning of this. I was like, okay, how does this work? It's a doctor's remote tier effect. So every time you push one of the arrow keys, you get that red X on the ground, and then you can use the arrow keys to move that wherever you want, and you can also move your own character while you're aiming that. So it's incredibly useful, but also it definitely takes a different playstyle to use effectively, and I don't think I ever got there because I'm so close to the end of the game already. But it's really interesting because you can be aiming that rocket while you're dodging, but it's so hard. Like every single other tear effect is you let loose a tear and then you let it go while you move around. So for something like Dr. Fetus, you put the bomb where it goes and then react to that. With Dr. Fetus, you can be doing both at once. You can be deciding where the bomb is going to go, and of course I totally failed there, really messing up in this room. But you can be deciding where you want that bomb to go as you're moving around and dodging enemies, and that takes a certain level of finesse that I don't think I'm going to get for a while. I really wish there was a challenge run that involved this item so I could practice with it a little bit. But obviously one of the most powerful items in the game. Yeah, really good item, and it takes a certain degree of skill to use. It's definitely my favorite kind of item. It's not just straight up overpowered. It's an overpowered item that requires finesse. And also I need to get used to the idea that I can just hide in a corner and shoot things, because more often than not that is the solution to my problem. Really, it's a tricky thing to take out those lasers with it. It's using both halves of your brain at the same time, because lasers obviously require constant motion. So you have to be like maneuvering your own character with your left hand and maneuvering the bomb's reticle with your right hand at the same exact time. So definitely something people are going to be doing amazing things with, but it's going to take some practice for me at least. Totally forgot to use my Book of Belial in this room. I'm not even sure if it works with Epic Fetus, but I think it's pretty clear that was not necessary in that situation. So we're just going to head straight up to the cathedral here. And here we are on the last floor. I feel like Cathedral might be a little bit easier than Shoal, but I may just have gotten lucky every time I've been on the Cathedral. But yeah, the enemies in the Cathedral seem kind of nerfed compared to Shoal. I'm surprised. So we did get a pretty fly, which is great, as well as another bad trip pill, so I'll leave that there in case it comes in handy later. We're going to leave that slot machine. I was deciding, just in case, because I have 99 cents, and I don't know why I picked up those 6 while I was talking about how I had 99 cents, but whatever. Because I have so much money, I just bombed myself there. Got trapped in a corner. Because I have so much money, I can really easily go back to that slot machine in my hour of need and potentially get a whole bunch of free money, or free hearts, rather. So anyway, oh yeah, I meant to mention, I think Epic Fetus does kind of nerf the technology too, because obviously, like, I'm still holding down my arrow keys, but it doesn't continue shooting the laser beam, unfortunately, while you're aiming the bomb. So I traded, essentially, my technology 2 for the Epic Fetus, but, you know, fair trade in my book. Got another pretty fly pill there, which is very lucky. So we've got a complete halo of protectors there. I'm going to check for the boss room, top left, but not the case. So we've just got some angel fetuses as well as some albino bomb flies in this room, and I decide, you know what, fuck this noise, I'm getting out of there, but unfortunately ran into a bomb fly on my way out. I remember I had to try to bomb the door open like 3 or 4 times because I'm still pretty shitty with the Epic Fetus item. So we've got some flies here. I feel like Epic Fetus is much better at taking out flies than any of the other explosive items, but still requires a little bit of finesse. that I obviously do not have yet. We're fighting Widow, which is exciting. And of course I'm getting hit, and I'm like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get hit on purpose one more time. Then I'm going to use my bad trip pill. Then I'm going to go back and grab the last one. And that way I will have just... and then my cube of meat takes out the spider, so I'm like, oh, fuck that. But there we go. Finally managed to get myself down to 1 heart so that I can get a full health out of my bad trip pill. The kind of gun on the wall that's been there since, what, like the caves? But, you know, I had a purpose there. I held on to it until the perfect moment. Now we're heading back into the sacrifice room. Going to grab that bad trip pill for the low, low price of 1 heart, just in case things go horribly wrong on the boss fight. But spoiler alert, they do not. Turns out Epic Fetus is the perfect counter to Isaac's ability to shoot at you as you shoot at him, and we'll see that in action in a second. Even like when I'm playing like an idiot here, like trying to figure out what the best way to do it, still you can see like I'm doing so much damage to him, and all he's doing is like shooting 1 or 2 tears at me, and occasionally doing that like peep shot with his tears. And then I think pretty soon here I realized, yeah, there we go. So the thing to do here is to hide in the corner. He can't reach me there. So if I just hide in the corner and direct my shots on top of him, then I'm basically never going to get hit unless those purple shots get lucky, which they never do, I don't believe. Now he's shooting lasers everywhere, or like beams of light, which have the potential to be a problem, as well as all of these angel fetuses. But, you know, I think it's too little too late at this point for old Isaac. We're definitely going to be taking him down fairly shortly. 1 more hit, and there we go. We have unlocked the D20, which is an item that really interests me. I've never seen it in action before, no idea what it does. Really hoping that on my next run we will see some gameplay with that. And speaking of the next run, oh, poor little demon Isaac has to get in the chest. But speaking of the next run, we are going to, I think, play as Cain, because I have heard that Cain has a very interesting item that he unlocks, and I would love to get that in the game as soon as possible to see exactly what the deal with that is. So stay tuned for more Wrath of the Lamb content. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think of the post commentary. I may or may not do more of this. It takes a lot more time for me. But, you know, if you guys enjoy it, then let me know, and maybe I'll do more of it. Because it is... I like it and I don't like it. So, leave a comment if you like the post-commentary. Leave a comment if you don't like the post-commentary, so that I can know to cut this shit out, except in, you know, times of emergency like this one, where otherwise we wouldn't have even gotten a video. And regardless, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.